Breaking news coming in, it's open treachery on the Indian soil. Separatist Masrat Alam has held an anti-India rally in Kashmir, even waving Pakistan flag during the rally in Srinagar. Fareed is with us with more details. Yes, Fareed.
Well, yes, this was basically a rally as Saeed Ali Shah Gilani, the separatist leader, was coming back to Srinagar from Delhi. So he had organized this rally outside his residence, and during that rally there were many people who were there, including his lieutenant Masrat Alam, who of course was also moving towards Gilani residence along with his supporters. And in these visuals you can clearly see the number of Pak flags that his supporters are carrying. There's not just one, but at least 6 to 7 Pak flags which are being flared openly, and there is of course Masrat Alam leading this particular march. So clearly another brave provocation, and basically this rally was allowed by the state government. Now usually we have seen in the past 5-6 years such rallies were not allowed. In fact, last year also when Saeed Ali Shah Gilani landed in Srinagar from Delhi, this kind of rally was not allowed. He was in fact taken into detention and then taken to his residence. But this time around, as a change in policy from the state government, from the Mufti Saeed government, this rally was allowed, and you can clearly see all kinds of flags, including the Pakistan national flag. There you can clearly see these supporters of Masrat Alam who are moving towards the Gilani's residence, basically with these flags, and of course an open and grave provocation, and clearly something that has now ensured that the government will have to answer several questions as to how such a rally, such an anti-India rally was allowed in the heart of Srinagar.
Absolutely, Fareed. He's raising anti-India slogans. He's hoisting Pakistani flag on our soil, and he's still roaming free.
Well, yes, that's the question now. We know when Masrat Alam was released by the Mufti Muhammad Saeed government, in fact, within a week after it was sworn in, that time also there was huge controversy as many people, not only in Kashmir but across the country, raised red flags saying that this, of course, was a step that would be totally anti-national, and in the coming days the government will have to really face the ramifications, and that seems what's happening right now, because this is an anti-India rally which has been led by Masrat Alam in the heart of Srinagar. He was moving towards the Saeed Ali Shah Gilani's residence, and you can clearly see basically visuals speaking for themselves. These flags openly being unfurled, and in fact under the nose of the administration, the police is very much there. You can clearly see in the visuals, and in front of the police these flags are out in the open.
Fareed, be with us because we have Junaid Mattu from National Conference joining us. We try and connect with him, but as you're talking about that it's an open provocation from Masrat Alam, these are signs of things to come in pro-Pak Chief Minister regime, is it? Fareed, if you can hear me, can you also tell us what exactly is happening on the ground right now? This rally which is being organized in Srinagar, were the authorities informed about it? Did they fail to take action at the right time?
Well, authorities were well aware of this particular rally because this plan of Gilani was announced many days back. He was coming back to Srinagar from Delhi after spending winters there. So he had given a call to his supporters to reach his residence, where he will, of course, address a massive rally. And that is what was allowed. In fact, just outside his residence, you can clearly see in the visuals, hundreds of people, in fact, the number could be in thousands, reached the particular place. Gilani gave them this address, but more than that, you can clearly see these flags, these Pak flags. They were almost everywhere in the rally, not just with supporters of Masrat Alam, but otherwise also supporters of Gilani were carrying these flags, and this was happening under the nose of the administration. The police basically was there standing helpless, because one can understand they had a huge number of people to take care of. If they would have taken action, then it could have been a huge law and order problem. So they were kind of helpless, and in front of them, these supporters of Masrat Alam and Gilani were carrying these Pak flags. Now you can clearly see this is not just one. There are around a dozen Pak flags in this particular gathering. Supporters not only carrying flags but also raising pro-Pak and anti-India slogans. So clear provocation, treachery, and now remains to be seen how the government will explain this particular move of allowing such a huge anti-India rally.
Fareed, be with us because we have Major General G.D. Bakshi also joining us. General, what's your first reaction of this open provocation by Masrat Alam in Srinagar?
This whole provocation is being engineered by the permissive climate that the Mufti Saeed government has been trying to create in Jammu and Kashmir. Their first step was to release this Mashrat Alam, a known separatist, ISI operative, the man behind the stone-throwing, stone-pelting episodes of the 2008-2010. What else do you expect? You encourage the likes of Ayesha Andrabi. You try and give a signal to people that they must come out in the open and express separatist tendencies, and there is an all-permissive environment that is being created to try and restoke the fires of separatism in Jammu and Kashmir.
Absolutely, General. In fact, we have heard the comments from the pro-Pak Chief Minister as well, Mufti Mohammad Saeed, who's gone on record talking about the political prisoners, how they should be freed from prison. But is it now the signs of things to come? Because you have Masrat Alam on the streets of Srinagar, even hoisting Pakistan flag. And look at the crowd that he's been able to gather with the authorities also present on the ground.
You see, the simple fact is that Srinagar is the center of gravity of the entire, operations in Jammu and Kashmir Valley. And yet, we have allowed that to be the most permissive spot where these kind of activities are encouraged. There are huge dense clusters in downtown Srinagar, which have been standard hotbeds of this separatism, quite at variance with the rest of the valley. This is one of the hotbeds and the centers of this where some firm action is required. Instead of firm action, you have the release of all hardened criminals. Mashrat Alam was yesterday headed for Tral to try and create mayhem and chaos there, to try and put all our security forces operations to a grinding halt. That is what they are trying to do.
Going across to Manish Tiwari of the Congress Party with us. Mr. Manish Tiwari, your first reaction to the pictures that you're seeing here on Times Now. Is this acceptable? If this is not anti-India activity, what else is?
Well, this is absolutely outrageous, preposterous and shocking for the lack of a better word. The governor should immediately dismiss the BJP-PDP government, because if the flag of Pakistan is going to be raised on the streets of Srinagar, if pro-Pakistan slogans are being chanted, this obviously goes to show that the state government is totally not in control of the law and order situation. How can you ever allow separatists and terrorists to flaunt and parade openly carrying Pakistani flags? This is a direct and absolute challenge to the unity and integrity of India, and the governor must exercise the authority which is available to him both under the Constitution of Jammu and Kashmir and the Constitution of India, and immediately take action. This is absolutely preposterous.
Will you hold Mufti Mohammad Saeed and the PDP-led government there guilty and responsible for encouraging this, sir?
Oh, absolutely. In the sense that never ever has it happened, even in the worst days of militancy, that separatists and terrorists have paraded on the streets of Srinagar in this manner, openly carrying the Pakistani flag and chanting Pakistani slogans. So therefore, where is the coercive diplomacy of this government? The Prime Minister spends all his time abroad. And in the country, you have the Home Minister, who possibly does not exercise any authority, and the Jammu and Kashmir government, in which the BJP is a participant, which has become a law unto itself, and it is openly, almost implicitly encouraging secessionists. So therefore, under these circumstances, it almost seems to be a constitutional breakdown, and the governor must intervene.
Does this also show that the BJP has got no say? They are in a partnership of inconvenience with the PDP, and despite whatever clout they wield at the center, they wield no clout in Jammu and Kashmir.
Well, they are complicit. This excuse that they do not wield any clout does not hold any water. If the BJP is completely powerless, then they should walk out of the government. In the absence of any evidence to the contrary, there can be only one conclusion which can be arrived at. And the conclusion is that the BJP is complicit in this anti-India activity by allowing secessionists, separatists and possibly terrorists to openly flaunt the flag of Pakistan on the streets of Srinagar, which is an inalienable part of India. In fact, if you go back to the 1994 unanimous resolution of the Parliament, which was again reiterated, if I remember correctly, in 2012 or 2013, it was clearly stated that the only unfinished business of partition is the reclaim of those territories illegally occupied by Pakistan.
Well, Mr. Tiwari, do you also feel that it's not only the failure of the PDP but also the BJP in the center also, when there are separatists meeting Pak envoy, there is no reaction from the government? We have also seen now that how there is a Masrat Alam on the streets of Srinagar holding a rally, an anti-India rally, right under the nose of the Mufti government, in which the BJP is a coalition partner. So in the sense, there is no direct strategy coming out from the party to meet the separatist challenge.
BJP is absolutely complicit after having called off the foreign secretary level talks, because the Pakistani High Commissioner ostensibly met with the Hurriyat leaders last August. You know, they did a complete U-turn by sending one of their own ministers, who unfortunately also happened to be the former chief of the army staff, to be present at that occasion. And subsequently what happened, duty/disgust, was an open spectacle for everybody to say. So the short point is that this government has absolutely no policy towards Pakistan. It is complicit in what is happening in Jammu and Kashmir. In fact, the release of Masrat Alam took place when the state was under governor's rule or it was under president's rule. So therefore, it wouldn't have happened without the consent of the central government, and this is possibly the single biggest challenge to the unity and integrity of India ever since 1990, when militancy started off in Jammu and Kashmir. And the central government is a helpless spectator, if not complicit in it. And the state unit of the BJP, since it's participating in that government, is absolutely fully complicit.
But Mr. Tiwari, as you mentioned, you know, at that time, the incident you're talking about, the central government, in fact, the Prime Minister himself had come out and said that we were not consulted on any of these issues. Many such incidents have happened since then. Therefore, even though law and order is a state subject, how far do you hold the central government responsible for what is happening? And certainly, what question do you put to the BJP, which seems to be a completely silent partner in this Jammu and Kashmir government?
Well, how can the Prime Minister turn around and say that he wasn't consulted? Is India's Kashmir policy run out of general headquarters in Rawalpindi, or is it run out of South Block? So therefore, for the Prime Minister to turn around and claim that we were not consulted by our coalition partner possibly is a complete abdication of governance. And to the BJP, the question is very straight, that will they stand up and tell the country that we are going to walk out of this alliance as of today, or if they are going to continue with this alliance and on the streets of Jammu and Kashmir or on the streets of Srinagar, you're going to have this open defiance and open waving of the Pakistani flag, then possibly the time has come for the governor to exercise his authority.